Brady did it again, Middlecoff.
Don't ever sleep on greatness.
Back at it. I'm Guy. That's John. This is our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like.
Also, we got a podcast below in the description. I'd like you to subscribe to that as well.
Back to the NFC Championship game, I should say, for the first time. Not the AFC Championship game. NFC Championship game for the first time. And it comes the same week that he commented on a Joe Montana Instagram story that he loved the 49ers. So it just, has you thinking about what might have been. I mean, if I told you before the year, over 50% or lower than 50% Brady's in the NFC Championship game, what would you have said?
I mean, I guess I probably would have taken under. I mean, I thought they were going to be a playoff team.
Yep. I would have taken under.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told me they're a wild card, that means they got to win multiple games to get there. Hell, they've had to play both the games on the road. They went 12 years, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, really without sniffing the playoffs. They get Tom Brady, and they feel – I haven't thought too much about this upcoming game. I know they already played the Packers. I don't know if you can we just saw with the Saints. I don't think you can put too much emphasis on anything that happened in the regular season once you get this late. But I do think there are going to be a lot of people picking Tampa Bay this week. Like you're going to bet on Tom going in on the road in the cold. You just watch them. Their defense is good. Their team is good.
No crowd again.
Yeah, it's just he made a couple near mistakes, but he also had a couple balls dropped on him. I think when you just watched him and Drew Brees at the same time, it was clear like one guy's holding on for dear life. The other guy's old, but he's still pretty good. Maybe Tom's not like peak 5 years ago when he was old, but still really elite good. But I watch him and go, this guy's still like a Pro Bowl level player, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, I do think that. I thought the throw he made to
Chris
Godwin,
the third Pro Bowler, not like the first guy.
Sure, but like the throw he made to Chris Godwin that Godwin couldn't hold on to the back of the end zone. I mean, that's just.
What about the Gronk one?
I'm just saying the throw was incredible. Like a guy.
What about the Gronk one? The Gronk one in the corner of the end zone on the little on the flag route. That I bet, and I tweeted this. They've run that route for a decade, right? That play from that yard line. They did it again a little later in the game, but instead of going to the end zone, Gronk stopped and he was wide open. Like those two would be like Draymond and Steph showing up to play 2-on-2 again. Like those two speak the same language. Tom, quarterback, and Drew down. Quarterbacks just put a ball on a point. They don't like look where the wide receiver. That's why you practice. And I just wonder if Gronk's maybe a step slower.
I thought a couple times that.
My point is Brady's ball placement is borderline perfect on some of these throws. That Godwin play, I think I have my fantasy team.
I thought it was a great throw, and I thought he almost had it. It wasn't a touchdown. But I did think a couple times Brady's putting the ball where maybe younger Gronk would have gotten it. But now here's the deal. So the Bucs are 4-point underdogs right now at MyBookie to the Packers. I think the Packers are going to win. But there are 4 teams left. Of the 4 teams, the one with the greatest quarterback of all time has the longest odds to win the Super Bowl. By far.
What is it?
The Chiefs are plus 220. The Packers are plus 220. The Bills are plus 275. The Bucs are plus 400. Okay? To win Super Bowl 55. January 24th, 1 o'clock.
They are a little reckless and a little.
The cutoff is 1 o'clock.
They're a little penalty riddled at times. Their talent is undisputable, right? I mean, they got wide receivers. Their running backs. Rojo looks like a dude. How about Lenny Fournette running his ass off? Devin White.
They got him back.
And Gruden.
Yeah.
Do you think those guys would like to have that one back?
Well, did you
How
hear
about
the
Winfield
Leonard
Jr.?
I know. How about the Leonard Fournette stat that just like Leonard's always got 300 carries. This year he's got 90 or whatever the numbers are, right? That he's just a lot fresher than.
I think Lenny and Rojo just look like a good little 1-2 punch, don't you?
Great nicknames too for your backs. I give I think there were a few places Brady could have gone and had success. The Niners would have been one, but for this franchise, as weird as the jersey looks, and as weird as the jersey looks on him, he's a game away from taking the Bucs to the Super Bowl. And if he does it, he's going to have to beat Rodgers after Aaron's having one of the greatest seasons ever. Like, it would be pretty legendary to go to Green Bay, beat that. Again, I wish, crowd. But to beat that team, Imagine if the Bills beat the.
There were some fans.
Yeah. You're right. They actually look pretty full relatively.
Yeah.
But I mean, John, if the Bills beat the Chiefs, which whatever, we could talk about that. But is there a scenario where the Bucs would be favored? It feels like they wouldn't be, but
you're saying if the Bucs Bills, would they be?
I'm just saying if the Bucs beat the Packers, is Brady going to be an underdog in the Super Bowl, regardless of who he plays?
I think Kansas City, he's an underdog. I think the Bills pick them, maybe Bucs slightly favored.
Feels like if you beat the Packers on the road, you should get a little more credit.
What do you think of this analogy? I watched the Tiger documentary, the first part.
Yeah, I did too.
And it was I watched this other thing over Corona where they went basically highlights on Golf Channel of all of his victories. And there was a stretch from like 97 to 2001 that that's 20 plus years ago. You forget, you're like, holy shit, this guy is the perfect golfer. And I think it's rare, like in sports, like maybe there was a moment like Michael Jordan was the perfect basketball player. I'd say it rarely happens. In baseball, maybe like Mike Trout is the perfect baseball player, but the problem is in baseball, you can be a perfect player and it doesn't equate to winning like it would in basketball, golf, or quarterback. And I'm watching Rodgers yesterday thinking, this guy is just the master of his domain. He's never played better. He might not be as physically quite as gifted as maybe like the 11 season when he was probably a little quicker. Maybe his arm was a little faster. But just his complete control was like, Brandon Staley, who just got a job, you got no fucking chance against this guy right now. And part of it, I think, one knock I remember McCarthy used to get on the irony is they nailed us when my first year in Philly when they beat us in the playoffs and they won the Super Bowl. He didn't run the ball very well. Part of it, they never had great running backs. But James Starks in that game, I think, ran for like 150 yards in the game against us, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. But for the most part of Rodgers' career, it probably was the NFL version of like, I won't say the air raid because it was a higher level of that, but they were spread it out and they had sweet wide receivers. It was like Jordy, Randall, Greg Jennings, they draft Devontae. Pretty wide receiver-led operation, right? And they're tight ends. Now, last 2 years, what'd they do? Well, we're going Shanahan run game. 26 wins later, Rodgers embraces it this year. I think the Love thing pissed him off. I just think he's playing. I don't know if I've ever seen just like his mannerisms. I'm like, this is the best version of quarterback I've ever seen live. And again, I think Brady's the best quarterback ever. But like the way Rodgers is playing, but back to piggyback off what you said, if Brady does this at 43 with Arians, Arians is good. Something's a little missing, right? Like I think Sean Payton's a better coach. I think Sean Payton's better.
Yeah, but to me, Arians does not feel like a Super Bowl winning coach. Like that he could get through a whole season doing all the right things enough to win the Super Bowl.
But can Brady carry him?
Yeah.
And their defense is good enough.
Yeah.
But I do think to go beat Rodgers, this version of Rodgers, I don't want to say it's the greatest win of his career. It's impossible to say he's had incredible. But it would get remembered. We say things age like a fine wine. It'd be like, God, you beat Rodgers in his MVP season at Lambeau when you fucking played your whole career in the AFC. I don't even. It's crazy that he even has the opportunity to add this to the resume.
I know
it's crazy how it all played out.
He left New England, and we're like, well, his resume. We almost put a period at the end of the resume. Like, oh, this will be a fun.
Yeah, it doesn't
be
even
interesting
matter.
2 years. Hopefully, he doesn't hurt his legacy too much in Tampa, right? Just a couple of playoff seasons would be nice. Maybe he wins another championship. I mean, he's in the Final Four. If you're in the Final Four, you got a shot. He's in the Final Four.
I just bet. I put 250. I put 250 on the Bucs today. They won. Now I looked at my account. It was like plus 150 or 155 or whatever it was. Now I have 580.
All on the.
Should I just ride the Bucs? Well, I mean, just saying, but just Bucs money line to beat the Packers. Oh. The thing that scares me is Rodgers. I think is just on a mission.
Yeah.
Tampa's defense is good though. I don't know.
I mean, they manhandled the Packers the first time. But again, I thought that game was really fluky. They threw a couple picks, and it just unraveled.
Their team, though, is set up like the teams historically, and this is out of Rodgers' control, that have given the Packers trouble. They do two things really well, and I think they have some parallels to the Harbaugh team and the team last year with the Niners. Their front seven is just fucking big time. They get after the quarterback, and they stop the run. So the Packers aren't just going to be like, Aaron Jones for 10, Jamal Williams for 15. You can't just do that all game long. And then offensively, one thing you will say about this Bucks team and Arians, like they were running the ball today. They were giving it to Lenny. They were giving it to Road. What did Kyle Shanahan and Harbaugh used to do? That they just run it down the Packers' throat, keep Rodgers on the sideline, and just kind of get into it. The Packers have not fared well over this decade in Rodgers' prime when they had to get into a heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
And you could argue they kind of did with the Rams yesterday, but it felt like they were just the more physical team for whatever reason in that game.
Offensively can't throw heavyweight punches.
Yeah. So they were just a one-sided deal. It's when you can hit them on both sides. And the Rams tried, but they're just not as good as these other teams. I do think Tampa's just another level to the Rams, and like there are the teams that give them trouble.
Look, I'll say this is the last thing I'll say about this. So much was made coming into the Saints-Bucks game about the combined age of Brady and Brees, which I thought was actually kind of stupid. It doesn't. Neither one of them was there for Eisenhower's inauguration because you combine their ages. Like the fact that one of them's 40, that they're both over 40, just say that. That's crazy enough. I don't need to know they're combined 85. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. Like they lived the same years. If they had lived combined, when you combine two people's ages, then they have the wisdom of what it was like to move out here during the Depression.
It's gonna happen this week because you combine the two ages, it'll be 80 or whatever.
But here's the beauty of this one is we knew coming into the game. I think you and I talked about it. Certainly the Saints could win. Brees though is not on Brady's. Now we've got a matchup. And really, Brady is not on Aaron's level anymore.
No, he's not.
But they, as a team, can just kind of hang if it becomes kind of a shootout style game. I just think we have the potential for. My point is, this game was really good. In the end, Brees just didn't have enough.
You get Rodgers, Brady, Mahomes. Hopefully, he's fine. And they made it sound
Mahomes,
like Allen.
Brady, Rodgers. Josh Allen. He's on that level now. He's getting that hype.
Hey, Patrick, you better clear this concussion protocol. He was tweeting after the game like he's fine.